Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal and you are watching the Mojo Story. Manipur is back on boil. The state that's been riddled with violence for more than a year now has again witnessed violence. You can see on your screen that is a police officer who was injured when his police station was attacked by protesters. On the screen, you can see protesters out on the roads. There are also some people among those protesters who were wielding automatic weapons. Now, those are reports that suggest that. Then there were stones that were thrown, and in those clashes, many people were injured. The state that's seeing cycles of violence. There are intermittent lull in the state, but then violence once again flared up in that state. Now, uh, while the violence is taking place, there is politics also happening. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge has in fact tweeted the BJP is the mastic which burnt Manipur. Kharge has accused Prime Minister Modi of failing to uphold Raj Dharma amid renewed violence in that state. Taking to X, you can see on that screen that tweet. Kharge alleged that BJP has vested interests in keeping the state in turmoil. He has slammed Prime Minister Modi for not visiting Manipur since January 2022, despite over 250 deaths and 60,000 people who have been displaced. Now, this fresh violence, you can see on the screen those shots of violence that has erupted in Kangpokpi last night, where a mob attacked district SP's office, protesting the continuing deployment of central forces. Now, why is it happening repeatedly in Manipur? There are two communities which have been divided by a buffer zone now, the Metis and the Kukis. To get a sense of the situation, today we're joined by an eminent panel from Manipur. We're joined by Dr. Mary Grace, who's an academic and a Kuki voice. Welcome to Mojo Story, Dr. Mary. We're also joined by Dr. Seram Rojesh, who is a DMCC convener. He'll also give his perspective. Uh, Dr. Mary, if I may start with you, we've seen a period of calm in Manipur. Now, again, the violence erupted. It is erupting in a sporadic manner in that state. There is never complete calm and peace. What is the situation there like right now? How are the people looking at this developing situation?
Yeah, thank you so much, Jaffer, for calling me for this in this show, and a very happy New Year to you and my co-panelist. One thing we have to know is that before going to yesterday's incident, it is very important. I may not be able to analyze the whole thing, like which has been there like for 19 months, almost 20 months, but then just to come back on the apology of the Chief Minister Biren Singh. One thing we have to know is that peace is not just absence of violence. And as we all know that for 19 months, the violence has been continuing. And so it's very important that like reconciliation has to start uh, taking place. And that is the only way forward for a long lasting peace. And one thing which Biren Singh, the Chief Minister, has done on the 31st of December, in one way, okay, it's a process of reconciliation because like he has admitted his guilt. But what comes with admission of guilt? There should be a judicial process. There was absence of building of trust. There was no dialogue, and there are so many things which has been absent. So without the absence, with just one uh, part of that reconciliation, I don't think it's going to help because you
Right,
know that peace cannot be forced, but
right,
peace can only be achieved with understanding.
right.
And yesterday incident, it's very unfortunate, but the thing is that with that, when I talk about the apology on the 31st of December, when all the whole national media had focused on the apology of Viren Singh, and I should repeat on this channel that like it's not the first time that he has said that forgive and forget. Let's move forward. He has done that in a press conference, like which was held in 2023. But after
Right.
2023, for how long, like the violence has continued.
In
So
fact,
it's very
Dr.
important
Mary,
that like
Dr. Mary,
we have to see
in,
the
in the
genuineness of.
Dr. Mary, I may intervene here. You spoke about Chief Minister Biren Singh and his apology. He said that he apologized to the victims, not as a government failure. Let us play that sound bite before we uh, talk further on this subject.
I feel regret and want to say sorry to the people of the state for what happening till today since the last 3rd May. Many people lost their loved one. Many people left their homes. So I really feel regret, and I would like to apologize to the whole. I hope with the coming of the new year, 2025, the normalcy in the state, and I want to appeal to all the communities of the state. Whatever happens, happens. We have to forgive and forget the past mistakes, and we have to start a new life, a peaceful Manipur, a prosperous Manipur, living we all recognize 34, 35 tribes together, and we should live together too, in future too.
Let's forgive and forget and move ahead. Dr. Seram Rojesh, what do you make of this statement? Dr. Mary was telling us this is not the first time that he has spoken those words. He has said that in the past as well. But is that enough? Will it help to diffuse the tension? Everybody talks about reconciliation, but where is that reconciliation process taking place?
Yeah, Mr. Iqbal, like when the chief minister of state actually have courageously apologized, even that is late. We should actually see it as a way forward, and of course, not only the chief minister, the prime minister and the home minister should also apologize because the Manipur is under the direct control of the home minister from the fifth onwards. So the even the whether the appointment of the DGP or even the all the appointment and security things, they have the home minister and prime minister have actually taken more responsibility. The central forces are under the direct reporting to the home minister, as and recently the chief minister has categorically said that the last 15 months the no informations or even the intelligence report have not been reached to the chief minister, even he's the head of the state. So that is actually quite understandable, and we should move forward. And the cookies are very much part of the Manipuri society for those people who have actually coming living before 1951. Having said that, uh, I will come to the last incident happened yesterday, that the DC or the SP office was attacked, and the SP himself was actually injured, and then the stole pelting, and then the armed militia, the militant actually attacked the state. So this is not a sign of the communal class. This is an attack on the Indian state. This is an attack on the Indian state machinery, and this is not the first time. Even in some months back, in the DC office in Chochampu and many of these areas, they have been attacked. So why we should understand this, the nature of the violence, it actually indicates that this kind of group, the politics in the armed group, they don't recognize, they don't respect the rule of law, and they wanted what they want. And whoever is trying to break the law, even the BSF actually they have dismantled three bunkers on 28th December. Before that, from this area in Kangpokpi area, from 24, 25, 26, 27 for 4 days continuously, the armed militant have actually fired towards the valley, and the police was injured, and the Baitai villagers was injured in the village. So since actually they have actually continuously firing towards the valley, the BSF has actually forced to dismantle some of the bunkers. And again, at that point of time, many women have come and they said that the armed forces should not be staying without the permission of the Kuki community. So the conversation between the BSF commander and the community, they said that you are not permitted. The word they are using, and the BSF leader said that this is my country and I am the security forces. I am ordered from the Delhi, not from the state. So it shows that they actually wanted to, ransack the whole state by actually allowing to bunkers
What
and then
what what you're trying to
no.
explain is that violence and intimidation cannot be a way forward if we talk about reconciliation and peace. Dr. Mary Grace, how can peace process start or take root when there is violence happening on the roads, when a police or station is attacked with stones and SP is injured? In those circumstances, what should be the response of the state? What can be done?
Jafarji, one thing is very important to we need to know about it is yesterday, what happened was that after 31st violence, the brutality of the CAPF on the women, the cookies of women. That's the reason why the protest started. And I'm sure they have given enough ample of time for the SP to neutralize the problem. But the SP was unable to do that. So see, when you are in a position to handle the situation, you have to be transparent about it. You have to communicate to the people, make them understand. Whereas you just neglect the people who are gathered there, because you already know that the tensions are there. And then one thing we have to know is that uh, even before Christmas, the attack has been going on, because we know that Christmas is a very big festival season, because majority of the Kukizo people are Christians. So that's a time when people want to celebrate, and when want to have their own celebration. But the thing is that there has been attack on the Saibol village and all these areas, and then people have been somehow trying to cool down, calm down, uh, because of the festive season. But after that, before 31st, before 31st, and when the CAPF people the main thing is that the duty of the CAPF people is to guard the border region. And one thing we have to know is that there's so much of mistrust. Why the people have
No,
protested
no,
when
no,
Assam rifles were removed, and
Dr.
why
Mary,
CAPF have.
Dr. Mary,
No,
that's
it's
the crux. That's the
Jafarji. It's
crux
very
of the. That's
important that they should
no,
see.
I
There's so much
understand.
of mistrust, because there's
That's
so
what
much
I'm
of
saying.
mistrust.
That is what I'm saying. That the crux of the whole situation is in one word: mistrust. As you put it
Yeah,
rightly, mistrust,
exactly. And
mistrust
one
from
thing is that
all sides, mistrust from all
yeah,
sides, from
it's very
civilian
important, because
population to the
Jafarji,
security forces.
if the CAPF people can have a meeting with the Arambai Tengol militia people and the VBIGs, why can't they have a meeting with the village volunteers and say that this is what we have to do? You cannot just go and because you know that the buffer zone has been created, because the Kuki people have been chased away, the whole population have been chased out from Imphal Valley. That's the reason why the buffer zone has been created. Once the buffer zone is created, if you have to cross the buffer zone, you'll have to make people understand that we are here to come and protect you. So unless you make, that's the reason why I said peace cannot be forced. But the only way to achieve peace is to have an understanding, to understanding with the people. You cannot just say that this is my country, this is my land, and the place you're standing there is not a no man's land. And you have there are people who are occupying that land. You have to make the people aware about it. And with all those what had happened for 19 months, and with all the commotion which has happened, even in Jiribam, it is still alleged that the CRPF people have, the CAPF people have gunned down the 10 village volunteers. So these are the things which it's already there in the minds of the people.
The
So it's
point
very
is,
important that some form of
The
negotiation
point
and
is, Dr.
trust,
Mary,
the dialogue. Yeah.
there are grievances, there are concerns, and people have a right to raise those concerns. But in a healthy democratic society, there should be no space for violence. This much is agreed upon by everybody. Dr. Siram Rojesh, the point that I asked Dr. Mary also is about mistrust. You said that, this apology came from the chief minister. It should come from other union ministers at the top level also. But will that help at all? Because ultimately the mistress has to go, and it is the people who should make a start for that mistress to end.
Yes, actually, the first important thing has to actually restore the rule of law in Manipur. And what happened yesterday is a completely breakdown of the rule of law. And the BSF, they dismantle the Kuki bunkers. And yes, actually, with due respect, there is no buffer zone in Manipur because there is no official record. These are sometimes governments at sensitive zones. In the name of buffer zones are only made in the border with the countries. So in within the state, the buffer zone is
But
not
but
allowed.
but
No,
but
no.
Dr.
Let me
Siram
let me
Rojesh,
let me let me continue.
let's be real about it. There
No, let
is,
me let
it
me
may
no
not be written anywhere, but people of
no.
both the communities are divided. There is polarization. It is
Look,
not
Mr.
it
Iqbal.
is not a
eh,
hypothetical assumption.
No, this is the problem. The lies is like because the Manipur is a state, and the 60 out of 100%, 92% are hills. And if you are trying to demarcate the base on the hills and valley, then Chorchapu is a valley. Chorchapu town is valley town. Out of 2.7 lakh population, 1.7 lakh population lives in the Chorchampur valley. So if you are trying to demarcate line
I
on
think,
the basis of no, no, please don't disturb. I did not disturb you.
Sarabji,
No,
what you
I
have to know
Let
is
him
no,
that
I
like
complete. Let him
we
complete,
are not
Dr.
trying
Mary.
let
to
me
argue
complete.
about the
Let me
Let him
topography or
complete.
complete.
anything like
Then
that,
you
but
will
Mr.
we
respond.
Mr.
see it as
Iqbal,
a reality.
Mr.
It's
Yeah,
No, no,
let
see
him
whether
complete. Then you'll
let me
respond.
or
complete.
not the buffer zone has
Let me
already been created.
let
Yeah.
me complete.
Quickly.
Let me
Yeah.
complete. I did not disturb you. The point is that within the state, so if this in the name of buffer zones in these adjoining hill areas, there are more than 2,000 bunkers have been established by the Kuki militant, and these bunkers have been protected by the security forces in last 17 months. And this is the first attempt that the BSF tried to dismantle because they keep attacking the valley. So if this politics is saying that you can continue attack on the valley, and the security forces have to be spectator like the Assam Rifle have been doing, and this is not acceptable. What we are saying is that those people who have arms in their hand, this should be disarmed, whether it is with the Kuki or with the Maitai. Rule of law should be restored. And if the politics are thinking that you can dismantle the police station, BSF, army, and and again you can take do anything whatever you want in the name of certain kind of separation or state territory, is not acceptable. So violence cannot be a means for any democratic
Right.
rights.
There
So
there is
enough
no
is enough.
disagree. Nobody
Ha.
disagrees to that. That
So
violence
this
is
is the
no
point.
option.
This is the
But
point.
Dr. Mary, please respond. What he is saying is that there is no written record of a buffer zone. There is actually no buffer zone. Buffer zones can only happen be built between two countries. This is a state. What we know is that the fact is that the populations are separated.
Exactly. See, this is the reason like why buffer zone was created. Even we don't understand. But the only thing is that like because maybe like the center already knew that like no, they knew that like if they don't create a buffer zone, of course like nothing is written there. But then like the buffer zone was there. It was created in June 2023. Whether it exists in paper or not, that's a different thing, but it's already on record. Like there's a buffer zone. There's already a de facto separation between the cookies and the Métis, whether we want it or not, whether we like it or not. But what I'm trying to say is that like we cannot be partisan every time. And even the CAPF, if you just I'm just going back to what the women group have done, what the Mera Paibis have done, where in Imphal Valley, where even 12 militants were, Métis militants were asked to be freed by the Mera Paivis. And you know that like where Mera Paivis were even checking the ID cards. So these are the things like we have to know, like, and there are instances like where even the things have been thrown away, like the army personals, like the things have been thrown away by the Mera Paivis. And these cookies of women, when they are protecting, why can't they just try and understand them, make them understand why do we have to use rubber bullets? And even like there are many people who are injured, even one of the lady whose eyes I don't think like she can ever see again. So these are the things which are very like very sad about, like how can you just use brute force with these women who are protesting? They are not
Right,
militants.
right. You can
So
see
I
on
think
the
like these
screen.
are all
You,
violation of human
you,
rights.
you
I
can
can
see on the
understand like
screen.
Saram talking about say grossly blaming everything which happened in the hills. I'm sure like the same thing happened in the valley. So many things have happened.
Right.
So we need
Now,
to
now,
balance
now,
out. But the only thing is that like any administrative, either the SP or the DC, whoever is there, they are there to neutralize the situation. They cannot just sit tell the protesters to sit and wait for another 3 hours, 4 hours, and not giving any reply. So
right,
I think like everywhere, like everybody has should have this accountability. Accountability everywhere is very important. And even
right,
the CM, like why I'm saying this, I think people have repeated on many instances saying that, like, why an apology? Why can't he resign? He has given that resignation, which was not genuine, where the Mera Pipes have tore his resignation. And now, like, why can't he resign? Because he has not been able to uphold his constitutional duty to
right.
protect the lives and properties of citizens. Just
Doctor,
that.
Doctor Siram Rojesh, I want to ask you that whenever we talk about Manipur, whenever we have people belonging to different communities representing them as guests on the panels, everybody talks about reconciliation, about dialogue. One fails to understand why doesn't that reconciliation happen when the intent is there? Is it because a proper plan has not been laid out for reconciliation, or is it something else that there is actually no central point? People are talking at different levels.
uh, like reconciliation is the only way to actually way forward, because we have 34 communities, and in Manipur is a multi state, multicultural, and 34 communities have been living together, and lake, forest, hills are shared from the last 1,000 years. But if one group of people are only trying to claim that this is only my land, and if any community can be chased out, then it is not acceptable, whether it is in Imphal or in Chochampur or Kangpokpi or anywhere. So, so that cannot be a model, because in India, if you are actually dreaming that you can live together with all the multicultural society, why it's not possible in Manipur? And only because there's some sectarian politics, they are trying to get actually separation to attack the community, that is not acceptable. So let's realize that whenever there is a peaceful atmosphere coming, these groups, sectarian politics, sectarian forces attack the state, not only the community. Let me remind you, last year, from January 1st to January 8th in Moreh station, the Moreh outposts have been attacked continuously for 7 days, and the state government, central government did not get notice of it, and even the home minister said it is only for law and order issue. The point is that when the law and order is breakdown, and some armed group are trying to hijack, trying to control, like in what happened in Burma, that many of the territories are under control of the rebel groups. Are you trying to say that India is also, some territories of Manipur is under control by the Kuki militant? I said no, because Burma and India should be differences. So whatever we actually trying to say is that reconciliation is the way, and the Kukis are very much part of the Manipuri society. Those Kukis who lived before 1951, they are part of Manipur. But if there is certain politics that yes, the people who are living in the border and the other country, you have speaking the same language, they should be allowed to settle. It is not acceptable. Like the
Right.
Punjabis living in Pakistan, they are not allowed in India. In a similar way, we have to accept that the modern state, the territoriality, the community, and the multi coexistence. So this is what we believe, and the reconciliation is important. And if somebody said that the cookies are not part of Manipur, it is wrong. As a Maitai, as a community, I'm saying to on this channel to all of us that the cookies who have been, even the Thadao, we call them Thadao, because Thadao have been very much part of our Manipuri society. And
Right.
yes, of course, some sectarian forces are trying to, malign, trying to disturb the peace. That is not acceptable. That is the Kuki, Maitai, Thadao, Tangkhul. We all have to find out the ways that how to actually
Right.
resolve this
Right.
issue. This is the point.
Dr. Mary Grace, what he's trying to say is that this is a small vested group which is instigating people. People, by and large, want to live together peacefully, but this vested interest comes into play whenever peace gets restored. What do you have to say?
See, mm, to some extent, I agree to him, but the thing is that, like, see, whatever it is, whether any vested interest, there's so much of politics. We need to go beyond politics. So I'm sure, like the common people, even among the Betis also, the right thinking group who have been attacked. Okay, so one thing we have to know, that's the reason why, like when we talk about reconciliation, when we talk about peace, it's very important uh, because we know that, like the chief minister, like I personally don't have any problem with him, but then, like I have nothing, no connection or anything. Like he's our chief, my chief minister. That's all. But the only thing has been he's been alleged to have started. He's a perpetrator of the violence, and where we have the Manipur tapes where he has openly said, like there's a tape which has come out in the open and which is in the Supreme Court, like which is waiting for the hearing and everything. So where he said that, like he has he has even asked to bomb it and all those things, like we know already know about it. And then the other thing is that he has been
So,
claiming, and it's
so
on record that he's
Dr. Mary, you think that
no,
the apology
Jeffrey,
is
it's
not
very
enough?
important to
That
tell because he has been
his
telling
apology,
he
because Chief Minister Biren Singh said that let us forgive and forget and move forward. You think that is not enough?
see when he has been alleged to be the perpetrator of the crime. How can we believe a person who is going to be the head of the state? So it's very important that, like he has, if he is really interested and if he really thinks that, like the people of Manipur should have peace, I think we have 3 million people, like more than 3 million people, and he's not only one person. So if he's really uh, thinking about his people, he have to step down. It's his moral duty to step down as a chief minister because it was already very clear when the peace committee was formed. There are so many groups who said that, like under the chief minister, under the leadership of Chief Minister Biren Singh, like nobody is going to have the peace committee, the peace dialogue, and everything. And even last year in October 19 MLAs, including the Meitei MLAs, have given a letter to the Prime Minister to replace Biren Singh. So I think if the ministry is not dissolved, then it's very important that, like either he has to replace, but that's not. I'm not anybody to comment about it. But then if we really think that there should be some way forward, then something has to be, some action has to be there.
Dr.
So it's
Seram
very
Roje,
important, yeah.
yeah, Dr. Seram Roje, there are a lot of
And one
concerns
thing,
of the Kuki
Jafarji,
community.
can I
I'll come
just
back.
add on
Yeah,
one thing?
yeah, quickly.
Can you please allow me to add on to
Yeah,
whatever, like Dr. Ramesh has said? Because I didn't like when many of the people kept on saying that, like cookies who are settled before 1951. So I think we should, if you talk about only cookies, it's not only one community who have their kins in Burma or other places. So we have come from. I think, like there are so many people, like we have our own. Many people. Most of the three communities, like the Naga, the Meiteis, cookies. We have a history like which goes back to many places. Like so, it's very important not only always target like cookies who have been living like 1951, and cookies are the narco terrorists, they are terrorists, the militants. So it's very important like to be very neutral about all these things, like
Right.
because it
Doc-
should not be something which is only used to target one community alone
Right.
when
Dr.
we talk
Seram,
about
Dr.
poppy
Seram
cultivation or
Rojesh,
anything. So
Dr.
that's very
Seram Rojesh,
important.
Dr. Seram Rojesh, Kuki members of Kuki community have some concerns, some grievances. They have been saying all along that let the chief minister step down. But besides that, there are many concerns and grievances. What is there any effort made by the other side to reach out to them and also to the Kuki community to reach out to Métis? What is actually being done besides raising those concerns?
Mr. Iqbal, before I answer to your question, I will respond to Mary. What he's saying that I mean, in Manipur also, we are not even the politics which you are targeting a particular community on the whether it is a drug issue or whether it's a terrorism, whether it's a narco terrorism, it is not acceptable because some people are trying to reiterate again and again by saying to justify the violence because we have been saying that the Kuki, the Thado who lived before 1951 are very much part of the Manipuri modern society and they are similar as we in one sense. Okay, not only the Kuki, Thado, even the Punjabi, Sikh, Tamils, they are there. But having said that, that no one is saying that all the cookies are narco terrorism. No one is saying. Only we are saying that narco terrorism is actually a international cartel. It's an international drug mafia. Loads are there. It's a big hand out there. Both the Kuki and the Maitai have joined hand together, and we have to fight together. This is
Right.
something which I would like to put on. And
Yeah.
the deforestation, as the already said, the forest minister have already said that in last 1 year, the 46 acres of land, the forest has been dismantled because of the poppy plantation. So poppy plantation is a reality, and it's a reality,
Those
it's a
are
fact.
those
And
are those are different.
those are
There are layers to this conflict,
so
and
don't trying to
one cannot ignore those layers to this conflict. But there are certain
no my
things
point
which
no
we
let me come
yeah yeah
let me come to your second question. So this is not we have to fight this collectively by all the community. The last point, the second point which you are trying to say is that yes, of course, the delimited coordinating committee is one civil society organization. We have called 3 months for 4 months back that if the chief minister is not able to handle the issue, he should quit, he should actually resign. We have already said even in Manipur, it is not that everyone is accepting the Chief Minister Biren Singh, even in because you also know. But having said that, what is the fall of the Biren Singh is is also that there are issues. Hello, am I audible?
yes, you
Ju-
are.
Just 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 let me take one. There's some connection. Uh,
Okay. Let me go back to Dr. Mary. Dr. Mary, one of the things that we keep on hearing is about economic blockade, like the convoys are stopped, the trucks are stopped, the highways are blocked. How is that going to help the situation? Because, as I said, there are very, very many layers to this conflict, and this is one of the layers. When you stop, when some people stop, supplies, it has an impact.
I think I don't think like there's economic blockade for that because there's always free movement of like all the items. In fact, what I have to point out is that whatever supply goes through, it passes through Imphal. In fact, like there are in fact news that the moment they know that like some of the items have to go to the hill areas, they have been blocked. So these are the biases like which has happened. And then the other thing is that why don't we talk about like people not flying the cookie people, it's not cookie so people like who are not flying to the taking the Imphal airport, like people are hardly bothered. Whereas like instead like people have to travel to Aizol, from Aizol to, if they have to go to Churchandpur, they have to travel like 15 hours like by road. So this is something like
Yeah,
people have.
this is an
Uh,
indication of the polarization and mistrust
yeah,
that people of one
exactly. So
it
I think
it,
like
it is on
so
both
that's very
sides.
important. Hmm.
It is on both sides, and that is why we come
Hmm.
back to the point of mistrust. What is being done to end that mistrust? Last word to you, Dr. Seram Rojesh, before we wrap up. Uh, how what is the way forward?
The way forward is that all the community should actually, should believe that the Manipur is actually the future is only lies with the coexistence, and all the people should live together, and the politics, the sector and politics should actually stop. And by thinking that by doing more violence and violence you will get something, that is not going to happen. So the clear point is that now at least 2 years has over, and we have to sit together that let what can we do together to progress Manipur. And there are many other issues we can discuss on about the development, about the distribution of the wealth, about the issues, about the democratization of the institution, that can be actually discussed, because we all want to progress Manipur. And but in the name of the underdevelopment, if one the sector in politics is trying to use violence as a means, and trying to do a ethnic mobilization, and trying to divide Manipur, and that will not going to happen. And the government of India is more responsible. Having said that, state government is also equally responsible. Chief Minister Biren Singh and the Home Minister and the Prime Minister, they all should realize that Manipur is part of India, and the rule of law, whoever has gun, whoever is trying to break law, they should be accountable. Yesterday what happened, attacking on the SP and the BSF, and the trying to actually attack on the security forces, is not only for communal riot, it is actually attack on the Indian state, attack on the Manipur state. And whoever involved in those politics and the attackers should be accountable. State has actually reclaim their right to actually legitimate about their authority. That is the only way, because if you are doing your rule of law, restoring rule of law, and whoever is thinking that they can actually take away Manipur by dividing, attacking on the villagers, civilian, that is not going to happen. So let's actually sit together, reconcile. And Grace and me, we all live in Delhi, and we should not actually more propagate it on the violence. Rather, we should be a peacemaker. We should be a building bridge for the community. Whatever happen is actually both the communities are equally suffer, and it is not that only the cookies are the sufferer, because in what happened in Chorchampur, the many 10 villages had completely wiped out in Chorchampur, in More, in many area. So Manipur, we are not allowed to separate by the cosmology, by the geography, by the natural resources. We are living together. So let's
Right.
come together
Dr.
and live
Mary,
together.
Dr. Mary, at the end of the day, people who have lived in Manipur for ages, for generations, have to live together. What is the way forward according to you?
See, for me, like when I said in my opening remark that, of course, like peace is very important for the whole community, both the communities, the whole people like who are living in Manipur. But the only thing is that like reconciliation, when we talk like okay, peace, when there's no violence, there'll be peace. But the only thing is that reconciliation, you cannot force people to reconcile. You'll have to wait. That's the reason why if a reconciliation will take time. And the fact that like one thing we have to know is that it's a very wrong narrative of saying that the cookies have been attacking. So we it's only like
Violence
the
has been
cookies only retaliate.
from all the sides. Violence has been from all the
Yeah.
sides. Not one
Hmm.
particular community or one particular area that is
So
affected. In fact, the state has been burning and has been on the boil for more than a year now.
and I really feel for these women who have been protesting also, because you have to know that they have to look after their family, they have to look after their children. It's not that they're having fun, like going and sitting there to protest about it. So it's very important that like even the SP, to me, like uh, I really have my sympathies are for him. But the only thing is that like he is to be in a way to be blamed because they are the head of the district, the administration. So it's very important that they should realize the importance of humanity, and then like to reach out to people to try and neutralize like the situation as and when need arises. So to squarely blame the mob, because you know that like when the mob gets angry, then the how the retaliation happens. So it's very unfortunate that like the SP could not neutralize, the SP and the DC could not neutralize the situation in the nick of time, because like they were given enough time. It's not that like suddenly they when an attack. I'm not trying to say that like the attack is. I'm not trying to say that it's true. It's
Justifying, yeah,
good,
yeah.
but I'm not trying to justify it.
On
But
the
the only thing
screen,
is that
while you are
yeah,
speaking, Dr. Mary, on the screen you can again see those visuals of what happened last
yeah.
night. You can see those
Uh,
visuals. It looked
Jafarji,
like a very
I
it,
can
it was a
understand.
very it
You
was
should
a very critical
before playing
situation there. Yeah.
these before playing this visual, it's very important that you should play the visual which where they have held a peace rally in the afternoon. So where there was even announcement saying that like they're going to have a meeting with the SP, and then they'll have to wait for another 3 hours or so. And I think that was till 5:30 p.m. And I think at that time it was still daytime. So by night, or like you know that the crowd will start getting rowdy after that. But before that, like things could have been neutralized by the head of the district administration. So it's very important that try and understand the situation, the emotions of the people, because it's not that like it just happened. So all these incidents have happened after the
Yes.
31st of
There,
incidents,
there is a
brutality of the
context.
CRPF on
There
the
is a
two case of women.
there is a context. So we completely
Yeah, that's a context.
understand that
You cannot
there is a
just, you have to
context.
go back to the root, because it's
Yes.
everything
Yes,
else is good.
there is a
Yeah.
context. We got
Hmm.
visuals of Saibol violence. Dr. Siram Rojesh, the thing is that acceptance, the starting point has to be acceptance that the other party, the other side also has a point of view. And when that spirit exists and that attitude exists from all sides, that can perhaps be the first step towards reconciliation, towards a long lasting peace in that state. What we're happening right now, there is peace, there is calm, and then again a flare up, then the spell of peace, then again unrest. It is not helping for a total peace, for complete peace. There has to be that spirit of reconciliation and acceptance that sufferings have happened from all sides.
Yeah, that is why I'm actually reiterating again the certain politics, the sectarian politics, by believing that the more you attack, the more you harm, the more you disturb the peace, you will get the demand. That is not going to happen. So if we have to respond to this kind of politics, I'm not generalizing all the cookie, but I'm actually saying to those armed militant group who have been demanding from separation from Manipur in the last 20 years. Even the KNO spokesperson said that separate administration has been a wish for them, and this is the right time. So this sectarian politics, the armed group, they have actually the kind of visual you have seen yesterday, that the armed militia are coming out and attacking on the state police forces is not different on the 3rd May, that on the first day, the armed militia were part of the protester and they attacked the other community, the Meitei community. So this is happening again when the chief minister have already said for peace and reconciliation. So is it because that the chief minister have said sorry that you are attacking state forces
Saram,
and the
you should
state
not put it like
machinery?
this.
No,
It's
no.
very
My
unfortunate that
very
yeah.
very
Hmm.
very point is my only point is that there is a politics, rigorous, aggressive politics going on, and they have been thinking. Even one of the spokesperson of the Kuki said that we have to continue our violence. It has been reported widely in NDTV that we have to continue our violence. If you stop violence, then we will not get separate administration. I will not name the person. So this is by the
Okay,
civil society organization,
okay.
NGO. They have actually,
Messaging is
openly
very
advocate.
important.
Huh.
Messaging is very important from all sides. Of course, there was a message in what Chief Minister said. Dr. Mary, you want to respond?
Yeah, I'd just like to respond to Saram's word because, like, if you talk about the cookie demanding like territorial council or whatever, like it's been there, and then the political dialogue has already started. So you cannot just blame them because of that. Because if we talk about even the Métis society, also we have the BPIGs, we have so many banned terrorist group like which is banned by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and we know that like it's a successionist movement which started like that's the reason why like the Kangle Park is there. If you talk about Kuki Lane, what about the Kangle Park? So I think like if we really think that we should go forward, that we have to restrain from commenting on all these type of things because it's very important. Because once you talk about Cookie Land, what about the Kangle Park? So these are things like which are very important and which you have to restrain yourself, because if we really want have to say that we have to go forward, that's the reason why like it's very important that all these things are part of political dialogue which has to happen, and the government of the state and the central government have to look into it. It's not you and me we have to say that okay, you cannot demand it, because it's these are all political the democratic rights which has been claimed by communities, and so I think these are political dialogues which has to happen. But for us as an individual, it's very important for us to see like how peace can come about. That's the only thing which we have to stress upon.
Dr.
Yeah,
Seram,
thank you.
Yeah,
Rajesh,
I would like
yes.
to respond. I would like to respond like the demand can be this is every community, every individual have every right to demand, but how you use your means to end that demand, that is more important. Telangana was separated from Andhra Pradesh, but you have never seen that the Telangana people have taken arms and attacking the Andhra Pradesh. You have Bodo Territorial Council. They fought with the state forces, and they fought with the army and the security forces, but they never attacked the Assamese. But in this case of Manipur, you want separate administration and the union territory by attacking the community. That is not going to work. The one main problem is that government of India, this is the assessment that the government of India has been nurturing, patronizing, and supervising under the name of suspension operation in the last 17 years, and they have been given sanction, they have been paid, and in between what they have been doing is to corner the valley area, and all the camps were there, and then the moment when some opportunities are there, then they started attacking. So the government has to crack down all those divisive forces, and all the community people live together. This is the point which I want to say. Anyone can demand, but you cannot pursue your demand by attacking again and again. When there is a peace, something happen. Drone attack happen. When the attack happen, again, if I also tell you the thing in last year, 28 May 2024, 23, that in Sugunu area there was a peace agreement between the Cookies and Meitei. But when who has started attacking on 28 May? It was the armed Kuki militant coming from Burma in More. They attacked Sochampu. They attacked the Sugunu on 28 May. On in that area, 13 villages were attacked on 28 May. My point is that when there is something, peace is coming. This armed group have went to wherever there is a peace area. There was a peace area in Jiribam. They have gone and started killing, and then Jiribam is also become an area.
Doc,
So
Dr.
this
Saram, Rajesh, you can give details of different incidents that have taken place, but the fact is that sufferings have been from all the sides. There have been excesses and
no
violations that have taken place all
no the Iqbal.
yeah.
Now, my
Yes.
point is, so this sectarian forces, if this is not contained by the government of India, by the state government, then they will continue to attack. And the first step is all the bunkers surrounding the hill area. Have been informed that there are more than 2,000 bunkers have been there. 2,000 bunkers are there in the hills, and these bunkers are not dismantled. That means why? Then you are waiting to be fired from the valley. So our demand has been all the bunkers should be dismantled by the government of India without waiting another attack from the groups. So once these hill areas, these adjoining hill areas, bunkers have been removed, then the security forces can station there, and they can control both the communities. If the from the valley
Right.
side is coming up, they can control from the valley.
What
If
is
hill also,
what
if
is
they fire, they are not
doctor
doing,
doc,
but the government is
doc,
watching. Now, only my
doc,
point is that government is watching. Government is allowing to fight Kukis and Maitai. I don't know why government actually wants to get from this
it,
fight.
i-
They
it,
are
it is
watching.
it is the responsibility of the government to build bridges to help calm down the situation, as much as it's the responsibility of the people of that state to take an initiative, because they are the ones who are going to live in that state. Dr. Mary, you would agree that everybody need to step back to calm down the tempers so that an atmosphere of peace is created.
Yeah, that's very important. That's the reason why I when always go back to the 31st of December incident where the CAPF should have been like more cautious about like negotiating with the people, talking to the people, because that's the reason why I always point out to the famous quote of Albert Einstein, which is, peace cannot be forced. Instead, it has to be achieved through understanding. When we can wait for 19 months, why can't we wait for another 1 2 days when it's a festive season for the Kukizo people? 25th of December, 31st of December. That's the day when we say goodbye to the old year, and then we try and welcome the new year. So it's very important to know the sentiments of the people. So I think we need to be more cautious and try to understand each other's culture. um, I understand like where the officer have said that this is my country, and to be like it's equally the country of people who are settled there. So you cannot just go and say that it's my country. I can come and do my duty, whatever, because you already know that for 19 months uh, everything have gone haywire. So it's very important to build up that understanding, that trust. So I think whoever has been deployed, like whether they are the executive, like whether they are the paramilitary, they should not just go by orders, but rather try and be more humane to the people whom they are going to guard them.
It's
That's what
important
I
to
have to
build
say.
it
Uh,
it's important to build. You want to come in, Dr. Siram, before we
Ye-
wrap up?
No, no. It is very interesting that Dr. Grace only referred 31st, December incident, but she actually, avoided about the attack on 24, 25, 26, 27 that in Kangpokpi area, the Kuki militant have fired and the police were injured, the villagers were running away. And if you're still expecting that the security forces have to watch like it has been doing, I think that will
Salam,
not going to work.
I'm sorry to
No,
say,
please
because
facts. Please
even
clear the
before that,
facts.
like,
Please clear the facts.
see,
Please
you
clear the
cannot be a
facts.
Let
tutu
him
meme,
complete. Dr.
because
Mary,
I
No,
have
let him
my own
complete. Let,
information saying that
Dr.
like
no.
Mary,
the
Dr. Mary, let
Let
him
me
yeah.
complete, and then you
no
can
Hmm.
my
respond. Yeah.
on 24th night the villages were fired from the hillside. It is already reported in police. 26, the police were fired. The security forces earlier they tried to stop the police commando also, and then after that they allowed 3 days continuous attack from the hills. And people like you are saying that there should be continuous attack and the security forces should not have taken action against those things. It is not going to work because the
Okay.
hill area is
Okay.
not another country like China. Now my point is
Right.
that the security forces, if what is the problem, if the security forces, BSF or any other forces actually dismantle the Kuki bunkers. We are saying that all the bunkers in the valley should be dismantled. All the bunkers in the
Okay.
hills should be dismantled. But they are not saying. They are only saying that the Kuki militant bunkers should be allowed in the hills, and they should keep
Okay.
firing. And then
Dr.
and
Mary,
then you're
Doc,
misleading the facts. Please don't
Dr.
mislead
Mary
the
Grace,
facts.
Dr. Mary Grace, please respond. We'll have to wrap it up. Please respond before we wrap it
Yeah,
up.
I'll just respond to whatever Ramesh has said. See, listen, for me, as per my information, what I've got is that even before Christmas, the firing have already started, and we have seen vehicles fitted with LMGs. So this is so that's the reason why we cannot keep on saying to May and be something which we cannot which you are saying and then the other person is saying, but then do you I cannot believe my own people who will be attacking before Christmas. So this is a festive season, so this is a thing which people have been apprehending, saying that they'll not let us celebrate the Christmas peacefully. So exactly that had happened, so according that's my information. So but then you have your own, and I have seen videos where vehicles have been mounted with LMGs, and they have been attacking the hill areas. So it's very important that and one thing I have been always saying, that whenever the valley is peaceful and when there are no attacks on the towards the hills are always peaceful. There's always apparent peace in the hills. People don't have any problem.
Right.
So
So we come to the end of
yeah,
our discussion today, but it is very important to build a consensus, and for that, it is also necessary that people come and speak. There has to be a dialogue at different levels. Again, one of the effort of Mojo Story is to report this story right from the beginning. We have been trying to bring the representatives of both the communities to discuss the matter, and when there is a discussion, there is a possibility that a way out can be found, and we can look ahead to a state full of peace and prosperity rather than these spells of violence. We'll have to leave it here. Thanks so much, Dr. Mary Grace, Dr. Seram Rojesh, for joining us
yeah.
today,
Thank
and
you.
thanks to our viewers for watching the Mojo Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.